A recent poll in Argentina revealed that there is currently a pretty considering amount of people that consider themselves right-wingers, representing a pretty surprising situation in a country that has always been turned to the left in terms of politics. Basically, the poll was nothing more than a little study which main question was whether you feel you have an ideology or you feel that you don't follow or you don't believe in any type of ideology. The vast majority essentially point out that they didn't believe in any type of ideology, but the majority of people who actually believe in any type of ideology, they say they believe in right-wing ideas such as capitalism, liberalism, and especially free market. As I said before, this is quite surprising considering that Argentina has been over the last few decades a pretty left-wing country for good and bad. For good and bad. So many would ask themselves, which is the reason behind this reality? And the truth is that unlike what happened with the election of right-wing president Mauricio Macri, which election was essentially based in the so-called voto castigo or punishment vote, this current situation could be attributed to basically the hard reality. And this reality is that the left-wing policies that Argentina has embraced for a couple of years ago in terms of economics have put the South American nation into a pretty delicate economic crisis, which has only got worse since the COVID pandemic and the lockdown measures to contain its spread. On the other hand, another main element that explains this current situation is the rise of Argentina's economist Javier Milei. Javier Milei has always been known for being a polemicist, a pretty controversial but pretty good economist in this country, which eventually became a media personality because of his hair, because of the way he looks, because of the way he dresses, because of the way he speaks, and well, especially because of the way he, in a pretty articulate manner, managed to do something that hasn't been done in Latin America, which is to express in a pretty consistent and a pretty interesting manner right-wing ideas, especially those of liberalism and capitalism. He got this done in a pretty nice way to the point where his popularity essentially led him to become a politician, and his political party is currently the third most powerful political party in this country. In fact, many believe that in the upcoming presidential elections in this country, he could have a pretty significant chance of getting into the Casa Rosada. On the other hand, we could also attribute this situation to the rise of many popular figures on social media, especially conservative Agustín Laje, which is more of a conservative than Milei in terms of social issues, like for example the LGBT community and especially the abortion laws. The curious aspect about both figures is essentially the fact that they have managed to seduce Argentina's youth. As a matter of fact, different studies have been showing that the Argentina's youth feel more inclined to the right than the left, which is also quite shocking considering the way that the youth of the vast majority of countries on the Western Hemisphere tend to behave in this particular subject about politics, left wing or right wing. So, getting to this point, it is an undeniable fact that the main question is Argentina at the brink of a pretty unexpected revolution, which will be a right-wing revolution? The truth is, the country itself will answer this question in less than expected, in less than you can imagine actually. Reporting from Medellin, Colombia, Luis Orozco, Newsweek.